All right, for today's class, uh, September 15th and through September 16th, which is Tuesday and Wednesday of this first week, I have posted the agenda to the calendar. So if you missed today's class, go ahead and go here. I recommend opening it up. Again, if you can join us, please do so. Here is the link to our live Zoom session, also found on the homepage. And the passcode, if it asks for it, is physics. Our agenda for today, we did some icebreaker breakout rooms to get to know each other a little bit. And then I went over a pendulum lab preview. In just a little bit, we're going to be doing a pendulum lab. And so I wanted to make sure we had practice with a program called Formatives, where it's how I'm going to pass out a lot of our assignments this year. Through Canvas, I should say, and make sure you have experience with PhET. So the assignment is right here. If I go back to the calendar, though, you'll see that the assignment is posted for tomorrow, as it is due tomorrow. Anytime we have an assignment with a due date, it'll show up on that due date. So you really want to make sure, though, you don't wait till this day to try and turn it in or complete it. Okay, especially if there's a lab that might take multiple days. Don't think that you want to start it on Friday if it's due Friday, that type of thing. But again, back to the assignment. If I click this link, it's going to prompt me to load the PhET Pendulum Lab preview in a different window. And I do that to help make it easier, because sometimes if you keep it within Canvas, it can be a little small. So this will help enlarge it. So when you click this, this is going to be my teacher view. So I'll show you what it looks like for the student. You'll have the title here, PhET Pendulum Lab Preview. And the goal of this lab is to preview the Pendulum Lab program before our first lab. I am simply asking for your observations. There is no right or wrong answers in this activity as long as they are related to the question. I don't want to see people go, I don't know, because most of the questions, just a preview, are what do you observe? Okay, so this is really, you're looking at the program and you're trying to explain to me what you're seeing. And if that is something that's kind of new for us, please do your best just to put it into words. Okay, again, no right or wrong answer as long as it's related. Then the goal is, if you can follow these directions to kind of organize yourself through the simulator, then that's going to be really helpful before our first lab. So if I click here to show you the simulator, the first step of the lab says, to click the play button. And so that's what this is right here. And so if I click that, it's going to open up the lab for me. Then it's going to start you at intro, but I want you to go to lab. And if you click that, this is what it's going to pull up. So then you might be able to hear my dog drinking water right now. I've encouraged you to open up the period timer. This is going to be the most beneficial one for some of our observations. Potentially the ruler to help you make observations. And you can click and drag these. Then the few questions will give you directions a little bit, but I just kind of want you to play around with the lab. Notice if you start your timer, then it will also trace kind of the period for you. And then it gives you numerical data that you can compare. Then you can stop. You can change the length and the mass in the top right. If you really want to, you can change the gravity and friction. Right now there's none. So that's actually very interesting, as here on Earth, there's almost always friction. Up in the top left, you have velocity, and you can see a little green arrow pops up. You also have acceleration, and a yellow arrow pops up. And if you also want to observe, there's an energy graph. And so you can see as I move this, that graph changes. Okay, so lots of things to observe. And I'm asking you to go through and just respond to these, like the length of the period as you change the starting height. What do you observe about the length of the period as you change the length? What do you predict will happen if you change the mass of the pendulum? And so if you need help with a little hypothesis, I've given you a sentence starter here. Again, more little directions. What do you observe about the change of the mass? And then comparing and contrasting the velocity and acceleration arrows. And that's it to help you get started. Let me know if you have questions.